They tampered with nature. Now they must pay the price.
The good, the bad, and the ugly show.
Hello and welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Ugly Show. Today we're talking about this. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, also known as Don't Open the Window, also known as Invasion der Zombies, also known as Don't Profane the Sleep of the Dead, also known as... Well, where to start with this one? It's one of my favourite films of all time, easily. It's up there with Street Trash, Night of the Demon and Mary Poppins. This is also one of those videos that was stashed away in my dad's secret video cupboard that me and my brother would raid while he was out bargain hunting. It's a zombie movie, set in England, filmed in England and Rome, directed by a Spanish director, George Grau, using Spanish, Italian and American actors, which made for an interesting, if not slightly complicated production, or so I'm led to believe. The story is set in Windermere and Manchester. As always, I won't go into too much detail about the overall story, as I'd much rather you went out and found it yourself and watched it without any spoilers, but I will read you the little synopsis from Google. It focuses on two protagonists who are harassed by a local police investigator in the English countryside and are implicated in murders committed by zombies who have been brought back to life by a farming tool designed to kill insects via ultrasonic radiation.
Prescribed area, keep it on an emission of 70 megahertz. Try it. Right.
There's also a couple of actors I really like in this. Ray Lovelock, who also starred in Oasis of Fear as Dick Butler, and believe me, his character really was a dick in that movie. He also had a role in Murder Rock, a weird but worthwhile film to check out by Lucio Fulci.
No one's seen or heard anything? Any witnesses? Anything to go on?
No, it was foggy, Sergeant. But we've been told, well, there's this farmer who lives about a mile from here, and he says there was bad blood between the husband and wife. A couple of times, he saw them fighting.
Bring him in for questioning.
Yes, Sergeant.
And a wonderful, absurd and quite hilarious performance from old-school American movie veteran Arthur Kennedy.
You're all the same, the lot of you, with your long hair and faggot clothes. Drugs, sex, every sort of filth. And you hate the police, don't you?
You make it easy.
Made during a time in his life when he was appearing in European exploitation films, such as Le Antichristi. I think Arthur Kennedy might actually be the only actor in this to not be dubbed, but I can't even be 100% sure on that one. So the soundtrack by the great Giuliano Sorgini doesn't get anywhere near the amount of praise it deserves. It matches the atmospheric brilliance of a Lucio Fulci and a Romero zombie soundtrack easily. These soundtrack albums until recently were incredibly hard to come by. Death Waltz Records did the cult horror world a massive service by putting this and many other great horror movie soundtrack albums out in the last 10 years. We are also very grateful to Anchor Bay and Blue Underground for putting this out on DVD and Blu-ray. In the last 20 years or so, all these kind of films have been put out in uncensored, uncut forms, remastered, and it's great because we grew up with these films on video, heavily censored, and just pretty awful copies. So yeah, it's good to have these films from the list of banned movies for whatever reason to be finally available again. I grew up watching this film as a heavily censored old VHS tape. The first copy I owned needed rewinding and fast-forwarding over and over and over again for at least 20 minutes before watching so I could clear up the snowstorm on the screen. This was a problem with auto-tracking. The video player I had didn't seem to have an auto-tracking on it, and then the subsequent ones, the auto-tracking never seemed to work, and then you'd press the auto-tracking button, which defeats the purpose of auto-tracking, and still you'd have to rewind it and fast-forward it. This is a problem that young people today don't even need to think about. Maybe someday someone will write a book about all the weird shit that came with technology in the past. But that's another video for another time. So, go and watch this awesome film and listen to the wonderful soundtrack. And subscribe to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Show.
Because there's no room left in hell.
I wish the dead could come back to life, you bastard, because then I could kill you again.